Welcome everyone to another week of Life with Science Didi. Today we have a very special guest with us, Ms. Gargi Vijayraghavan. I'll just introduce Gargi to all of you before we proceed. Uh, Gargi and I know each other through our master's program, which we did several years ago, and I happened to come across the work that Gargi has been doing. And she has progressed quite a bit from the work that she had done then. And I felt that it's an appropriate time to call her and inspire a few kids uh, who would like to pursue a career in conservation biology. So Gargi has done her BSc in zoology and masters in environmental science, and she worked with Bombay Natural History Society as a research biologist. She wanted to improve her research and analytical skills and received a scholarship for study of her second master's in ex situ conservation biology, and she's currently at Manchester Metropolitan University. And now she wishes to work for species recovery and behavioral studies and bioacoustics. So those are a lot of big words, Gargi. What I know, what I am impressed about a lot is the work that you've done in animal rescue. I know that you have rescued a lot of snakes and turtles and tortoises. You can also tell us the difference if you like. So yeah, that's what interested me.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Gargi, hi.
Hi.
How did you
Hello.
get into animal rescue and conservation?
Okay, so this journey actually began when I was a kid. So thanks to my parents, both are nature lovers, and although they were not in this field, both have like totally different field. My father is an engineer, and my mother works in a government facility. But thankfully, they were interested in nature, and they thought that maybe they realized that 9 to 5 job is not what exactly they wanted to do. So. They always encouraged me to go into nature, and that's when I got interested, and thankfully they nurtured this and they always encouraged me for this. So it was not very recent, but when I was in school, my father and my mom used to always rescue like kittens or dogs. Then slowly it started birds and then snakes and then all sorts of animals, because the people where I used to live got to know that okay, there's somebody who can help us with, and then they started calling us, and that's how even I got interested, because like they say, it all starts in your home, whatever
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah.
So I used to see my parents do that, and I was too much interested into it and so enthusiastic that I used to even get snakes from schools and stuff. So yeah, I was just very much interested since then. And slowly I realized that I couldn't do anything else apart from just being in nature or study animals, because corporate life was not something that I was interested in. And to be honest, money is not everything for me, because at the end of the day, if I'm not happy, I cannot do it. In fact, I'm job hopped. Even in this field, I have job hopped so many times because I thought the environment is not very helpful for my growth. So I quit it. Like I'm just like that. So yeah.
I think
What
that's an
did you
important
continue?
thing. Yeah, it's an important thing that you identified those things, Gargi, because in the end, we want to build a career and also want to make positive impact. It's not just about money. Even
Yeah.
we believe that.
Yeah.
So, Gargi, how many animals have you rescued to date?
Ah, to be honest, I really don't have a count. Apart
Mm,
from that, I can give you an approximate of snakes, because we used to maintain like a sheet where we used to write down which species of snake we rescued from which people,
mm,
so that
mm,
at the end of the day, if we partner with some NGO, we can view the records, or if forest department asks us, we can provide a record.
mm,
So now I have not been counting, because I almost stopped snake rescue after I moved out of Bombay, because for my work or for my studies.
mm, mm.
But earlier the count was like 2,000 to 3,000 snakes
My God,
That's amazing.
in
that's
10 years.
amazing.
In
Yeah.
10 years. Yeah. Yeah, and that too just from the same area. Like we
Mm,
don't do it professionally or something. Me, my actually all of us, even my mom, she helps in this, and this is completely like a social service, and we do it for the snakes, not for the people. But
mm.
yeah. So, and also one more thing we do is that, and I don't know how many of them were repeated because we don't leave the snakes
Yeah,
outside the area.
that
We don't.
was something I wondered whether you
Yeah.
met the same guys again and again.
I don't know. And we don't relocate the snakes because I would like to shed some light on that also, because
Yeah.
a lot of rescuers, what they do is they rescue the snake and they feel that usko, like go and leave it in the jungle. That's right. Maybe that's
Mm.
right for us, but it's not right for the snake, because everybody has like a home range. Like we feel comfortable in our space, right? Like if we go
Mm.
to area, it takes so much time to adapt. It's the same with animals, and plus you're hindering the balance of one area and the other area, because if you're going to leave all the snakes from this area and go and dump them in
Put it
some
in a
forest,
place. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
might not survive. They might not be able to hunt for themselves. So you're
Correct.
basically causing an imbalance in the whole chain that's already existing. So I used to,
Mm-hmm.
so what we made sure was we rescue the animals, and slowly then actually it took us few years till we realized that, instead of just rescuing and releasing, why not call people and tell them like what exactly this animal is, and get out
Mm-hmm.
the fear, like take out their fear, because snakes is like the most fearful thing for many of us. And some people say I
Yeah.
get nightmares, like,
Yeah.
it's that scary for them.
I was
Yeah.
So
also
are you
hoping that
with
you
that?
clarify some of those fears for us,
Yeah.
because I had the opportunity to be in the same class as you and get to interact with you over a long period of time. And even after that, I have been in touch with a lot of snake rescuers. So I know now that snakes are not as bad as they are pegged out to be.
Yeah.
So can you clarify some common myths for us?
Yeah. So the main thing that people miss out is that snakes have been a part of our lives since the beginning. Like they have been either in the culture, traditions, like we even celebrate a whole festival for them, like Nag Panchami. But people miss out on the point that why snakes are important and why we need them in the ecosystem. The only thing that they see is the outer appearance, like they are slimy or they look weird. That's because that's how it has been depicted always
Mhm.
in the stories, that snakes are dangerous, snakes are bad. And then there are also some people, how they say like if somebody behaves like somebody backstabs
Like
somebody,
a
then
snake.
she's a snake. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we use that term very like unknowingly we use it, but they
Mm-hmm.
don't think that what that word holds. Like if a child is hearing that, they'll think that
Mm-hmm.
okay, if you behave like this, you're a snake. Basically snakes are bad. So we need
Mm-hmm.
to be really careful when we use animals as metaphors or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So some fear is like basically, like I said, physical appearance. So if you see the most common snake, it's a rat snake found almost throughout our wherever we live, and it's very close to human settlements because, of course, there are rats like mice all over, and that's the main food. So rat snake, the main prey is rats. So people
Mm-hmm.
think it's a venomous snake, and there are a lot of myths saying it carries venom in its tail, and then yeah,
Like a scorpion snake.
yeah, and they are like, whenever you go near it, it takes your tail and it pierces you or something. A lot of things. And then the second one was like a green wine snake. So if you see a green wine snake, the snout is quite long, like a
Mm.
point, like a beak. So
Mm.
they say in Tamil, it's called Kannu Kutti Palm. Basically, Kannu means eyes and Kutti is
Eyes.
like poke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So they say that, whenever you're walking and if it's there, it will pierce you into your eyes and take off your eyes. So I think, like, I don't know, I have not read it anywhere, but I think our ancestors made all these things so that, we stay away from them, like
Mm.
to
Don't.
avoid conflict.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But people misinterpret that and now they like casually use it saying that, nahin, that's a myth. And yeah, there are a lot of
That's
things. And the
reality for
biggest
them.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the biggest myth is that snakes drink milk. Like, I cannot stress enough on how snakes cannot drink milk. So, the basic thing that I think all these things needs to be taught in school, like from school. Because I to be honest, I didn't learn about myths, but I don't know now the education system might have changed slowly, or if people are aware about it. But snakes are reptiles, yeah, and they do not produce milk. They do not drink milk. Milk
Mm.
is the only feature for mammals. That's
Mm.
basically
Mm.
for dogs, cats, who are mammals. Snakes
Mm.
cannot digest milk. So you
Mm.
offering milk to the snake during Nag Panchami is going to kill it. And
Mm.
people say that no, no, they love it. They love it because the person who has the snake keeps them hungry for like days. And when the
Mm.
snake sees milk, it thinks that it's liquid, like it needs to quench
Mm.
its thirst, right?
Mm.
So it straight away dips into the milk and then it slowly dies, like because it I can relate to them because
Yeah,
I'm lactose
yeah,
allergic.
yeah. That's another thing. Yeah, so
Yeah.
anybody who's out there who's lactose intolerant, you can also relate to Gagi on this matter.
No,
Other than and all the other awesome things that she's doing. So, Nisha, would you like to read out this comment that we have?
How do I join?
So Chetan
oh,
is asking
Any
how to join.
future, like how do young people can get into animal rescue? If you can tell us.
oh, so Chetan Trivedi is my friend, and he's a doctor in London. He's like a quite experienced person,
Right.
and he knows how to join into this. And to be honest, like if people who are not in this field want to contribute for this, the main thing would be to read about the facts. Like, first of
Hmm.
all, burst your myths, the
Hmm.
misconceptions that you have about snakes. Start reading, like, make yourself aware. That nowadays there are a lot of organizations working for snake rescue or for animal rescues or conservation. Like, just Google it. You know what? I just don't know why people think it's so difficult. I have so many people texting me saying, I want to work there. How do I get into it? You work there,
Hmm.
right? Can you please get me a job there?
Hmm.
No, I cannot because you need to go to the website
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
at the end, like explore the website. I'm not only
Yeah.
talking just for the job, but you
Right.
will get to know the work they're doing or what they exactly are their projects. So that's how
Hmm.
you try to, educate yourself about what
Right.
is happening in your area. I'm not saying
Hmm.
US may who's working what you should know. No,
Hmm.
just see if you're in Mumbai, see which
Hmm.
are the organizations working in Mumbai, get in touch with them, volunteer, because if you are into some other field and you're earning quite well, why not just like go and volunteer there and help
Hmm.
them, because
Hmm.
these organizations usually run on charity or funds and they cannot
Hmm.
afford to always employ people, so they would be
Hmm.
happy to have volunteers. So,
Hmm.
and that will literally fetch you like a good experience in all these
Hmm.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, we have one more suggestion, one more comment. Linsha, please, can you read it for us?
It's from Sanjay Joshi. A video was going viral showing a man feeding water to a cobra directly from a Bisleri bottle. Is it possible?
So I think I saw that video, and what I feel is maybe the snake was just too thirsty. And there are see, I'm not saying it's not possible, but there are incidents all over India where you have seen that animals actually feel your vibrations. Like, I know some people will say, "What is she talking?" But no, they do. They know, they can understand your vibrations. Like if you are calm, they won't attack you. They are not there to just, attack you just like that. For example, any dog or anything, unless the dog is rabid or has some problem, or any animal for that matter, won't just come and attack you just like that until and unless you go to their territory and, like you disturb
Yeah,
them. But
yeah.
even in snakes, like what sir is asking right now, we had rescued a cobra who was badly injured, and he had maggots in his tail, like it was slowly trying slowly starting to rot. And
Mm-hmm.
me and my parents, we were like, that time we didn't have that much experience of handling such a huge cobra. So we just thought, what should we do? And my father, I don't know, he has this habit. Actually, we all of us have. I think even you will relate if you have pets. Like we always talk to them, casually.
Yeah.
So we started talking to snakes, just telling. I'm not saying snakes can talk. Please, this is not the fact that
Are you
I'm going
Harry
to
Potter?
pass it down or something. Yeah, no, no. There's pass it tongue is actually not a language in real life, but all I'm saying is that they feel your vibration. They cannot understand Hindi, English, Marathi, but they obviously know what you're trying to do. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to do something good for them, I'm sure there are cases where the snake is not trying to attack but is drinking water, like from the bottle or from anywhere. Like, because that cobra which we rescued, he didn't even raise his hood at us. Like usually the first defense of cobra is to raise its hood, but he
Mm-hmm.
didn't. We slowly removed all the maggots from his tail with a forceps, and we put medicine, and we even released him like few weeks after that. And I think it all, you need to be calm. You should not be yourself scared or agitated. Then the snake or any animal thinks that you're going to attack. Like it's their
Correct.
instinct. Yeah,
I think it's about our own body language as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
We unknowingly give off threatening body language and we don't realize it. And
true.
animals are experts at reading body language, that much even I know. So
Totally.
basically, what from that well-behaved snake's experience, what we can say is that all animals, just like human beings, they're just like humans who cannot talk, and if we give off threatening vibes, they're obviously going to be scared of us. And as for people who want to join such organizations, we recommend that you go through their websites and see if they have volunteering opportunities.
Yeah, true.
So yeah. So Linsha, you have a question for Gargi now?
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah.
How do you self access your work?
Yeah, in
So basically,
rescue.
Yes. Yeah.
in rescue or conservation, yeah. So first of all, let me sorry just clear it out that rescue and conservation are completely two different things. So usually a lot of people think that all I do is rescue snakes. Like they call me snake catcher. I am not a snake catcher. And some people have also asked me like, do you play the flute and the cobra dances to your tunes? Wow, no. I dance to its tune because I have to be careful when I'm handling a cobra.
Yeah, yeah.
So first of all, I would say is please do not get into rescue. We do not need people who will just jump and rescue anything and everything. We do not
Mm.
need that because first we need to learn to coexist with them and then get into rescue because rescue is only when it comes inside your house. Like now
Mm.
we have been rescuing for the past more than a decade now, and even my father, like now they still live in the same place, so they are doing it. And all we tell them is that please just call us when it's inside your house, not
Mm.
outside, because that's where the
Mm.
snake should be.
She's supposed to be.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's your
over there.
neighbor. It's like
Yeah,
seeing a neighbor and calling the cops.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the thing is that for my work, I would say it's hyped, to be honest. I don't like the way people hype, oh, ladki hai, she rescues snake. Just because I'm a girl, you have
Mm.
hyped this so much that a
Mm.
girl is rescuing a snake, and because it's a snake, just tomorrow, if a girl rescues a puppy, nobody puts it in the paper or nobody
Mm.
makes it a news saying that a girl is
Mm.
rescuing puppies. But if it's a
Correct,
snake,
correct.
then people go crazy.
Mm.
So that's what we need to, understand that snakes are just like dogs or cats, just that they are not
Mm.
expressive, of course, but they are
Mm.
going to be a part of our the way we live, and we have to be in harmony with them because they
Mm.
are a huge part of ecosystem. And people are growing so intolerant these days towards I can't expect them to be in harmony with snakes when they themselves are not tolerant towards
Yeah. Each other. Yeah.
each other. Like
Yeah.
so usually what people do is they call us. So they are on the third floor of the balcony. They call us. Hello. Yeah, there's a snake in the ground floor. It's in the garden. Yeah, so that's what we are. And then they're like, no, no, you need to come and catch it. And we're like, no, why should we catch it? My child plays there. It's my child plays there in the night. What the heck is your child doing in the night? Like, keep your
Yeah.
child inside. 10 o'clock, if your child is playing in the garden, that means
Mm.
what? Like, you need to
Yeah. It's of course
continuously do.
unsafe. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And 10 o'clock, if your child needs to play, something is wrong. Just let it play indoors. Like,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
need to be really, we need to
Yeah, I
understand
think
that.
within reason, wanting safety for your child is okay, but this is unreasonable, especially in the times that we are living, where our environment is damaged so much. We cannot
Exactly.
afford to have this kind of behavior towards our neighbors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what. And the only fear that they have, and because thanks to our Bollywood movies, they have shown us that there's Ichchadari Nagin, there is this
Oh my
something
God.
called Nagmani, or
Yeah.
so many things that people actually ask me, like, have you ever seen a Ichchadari Nagin? So I was like, no. It's just, yeah, it's just like vampires or werewolves, like they don't
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah.
And
It's a myth. Yeah.
yeah, the logic behind Ichchadari Nagin is actually it happens that snakes usually people think they come for revenge, but when you kill a snake, okay, when you kill it, there are some pheromones released in the air, and
Mm-hmm.
when the male snake like catches those pheromones in the air, it thinks that there's a potential mate, so it just comes to that place where you have killed the female. So people think that there are some other snakes who have come to take revenge because you killed that snake. So and it's okay to believe in all these things because you don't know, but Nowadays we have internet, we have everything. Like you can just YouTube saying how do I use a spoon to eat. Like that's everything on the internet. Why not just Google something like that? Do snakes take revenge or something? Like just put it. Google will give you answers, and just try to. I think it's not about giving taking campaigns or going to workshops or volunteering. It starts from yourself. That I strongly believe that you have to start from yourself. Start educating yourself. Don't be one of those ignorant people who don't know anything and who don't want to know basically. So start reading. Even with the lactose intolerant thing and allergy, like intolerance and allergy is totally different. Now that's a different tangent, but I'm just saying that start reading about that. And self awareness is very important. And like you said, now coming back to your question, how do you self assess your work? See, now suppose you are a researcher on the field, and suppose I work on some XYZ species, and this species is only found in that area, like it's endemic to that part of our country. So, what you do is, uh, science is not about just throwing research papers out there or taking scientific names and those jargons. It's more about how can you convey your work to the local community over there, the people over there who are actually living with that species, like the villagers or the local community. You can only assess your work seeing the magnitude at which they are helping you to conserve that species, and in the future they won't harm it or they will conserve it. So if you know that the locals are with you and they are in sync with your work and they understand what you're doing, I think you're doing great. I mean, success begins from there, because local people. Sorry, not people. People are important. It's not only about publishing your work, going to conferences, and talking within the same community of people who understand what you're doing. It's more about people who do not know. How do you communicate with them? That matters, at least for me. Yeah.
That's great.
I think Jogita has
Yeah.
something.
Yogita, you're not audible.
Yeah. Yeah, so there is one more comment that one of the uh, viewers has posted. We'll come back to this. I just wanted to ask you, could you elaborate a little bit more about what is conservation and, the work that you're doing right now in Manchester?
Right now I'm just sitting. Okay, anyway, but just like everybody else, I'm just at home chilling. But yeah, so conservation biology is mainly like it's not only about studying the biodiversity, but it's also
Hmm.
about how to manage it
Hmm.
for preventing extinction in the future. So, for example, like how, like just now, like I said, if you do surveys, if you know which species is that, you study about that species. But and you write, like suppose I go to a field every day, sit there for like months and months together, writing that this bird comes here every day, sits like this, does that. So I have a data that I'm collecting
Hmm.
every. But at the end of the day, I don't know what to do with the data, or I don't know what to take out results out of it. Then it's useless. And this thing I realized very late. All I thought was, when I was a newbie in this field, I thought like, whoa, I get to go to awesome places. I get to, see birds and be on the field, post pictures saying I'm into wildlife and stuff. But it's not about that. You can even conserve wildlife sitting in your room,
Hmm.
just working on the data and putting it
Hmm.
out there, because
Hmm.
it's indirect conservation. You don't need to always go into the field, sit there, take pictures, and show that hard life, wildlife, whatever. You don't do that. So you can always start your conservation from your house itself. And I think the final aim in conservation biology is to protect the ecosystem's habitats. It's not just about one species, it's about the entire ecosystem that we need to protect, because we are just a tiny part of it. And that's what we are failing to understand. And that's why the pandemic occurred.
Hmm.
Like
Correct, correct.
slowly,
Yeah.
the pandemic is a result of complete ignorance of like the lack to understand why species are important, why we need to preserve ecosystems. We are
Yeah, you,
complete.
if you can elaborate on this human animal conflict and the
Yeah,
connection with the pandemic, it will be
Yeah,
great because I think now people will understand the impact of the work that is required
yeah.
and which is not being done. Yeah.
Yeah, I really hope so that they understand that why this field is important. because I think after the pandemic, people will more be like, "Hey, business badhao or ye karo," because we are
Yeah.
into loss. But that's not it. We need to start again. We need to think what we did, why this
Mm,
happened,
mm,
instead of just blaming Chinese people or saying that it's only
yeah.
because of China or it's only because of the wet markets. No,
Mm,
that is
mm,
just how it happened, like from where it started, sorry, but how
mm,
the bigger picture. Like it's a
mm,
whole new thing that people are completely not understanding it. And
mm.
because you just go and ask people pandemic, how do you think pandemic happened? Oh, those Chinese people ate bats. No, no, no.
Yeah.
And bats, also one more myth, like you said, like there are different myths not only about snakes but also
Snakes.
about a lot of animals who
Mm,
are not prettier. So we humans have this tendency to always go for something that is very pretty or like like physical appearance and all.
colorful, beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just an example, people prefer butterflies over moths. Why?
Mm,
Because butterflies are colorful, they look
mm,
nice, but
mm,
nobody cares about moths who
mm.
are really very important in the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everything is, but we focus more on the colorful part.
Mm,
And
yeah.
if, like even you know that if we go into a national park, people are going crazy after a tiger, but you're
Yeah.
missing out on whole other 60 species of birds that you are sitting around
Yeah.
you.
And if
And
you don't see a tiger, it becomes a very big issue. Yeah.
remember,
Yeah. I know.
yeah. So
Yeah.
sorry, this is in context to our excursion that we went, and some people were really annoyed that we didn't get to see.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we saw one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Thankfully.
yeah, we did. Yeah, sorry. So where was I? Yeah. So we need to bridge the gap between ecology, like environment ecology, everything, and
Mm.
policy makers and people who are actually
City
working,
planning. Yeah.
stakeholders
Yeah.
who are
Yeah.
involved in all.
Yeah.
So that's where the researchers come into picture, where we can understand biodiversity, ecology. At the same time, we can work with communities or stakeholders and make them understand that why this is important. It should
Mm.
not be like, you're just doing the impact assessment, giving clearance to everything. No, don't do that. Just understand why this is important. When you work there, you should know what you're doing. And like
Mm.
I said, local people are really important. Don't go there just thinking that, I'm here, now I'm going to teach you about what is.
Mm.
They know more about everything than you. You just know the
Mm.
scientific stuff, but you don't know how to go into the forest where you will find what. That's when they
Mm.
come into picture. So I'm
Mm.
saying this from my experience because I lived in Melgha Tiger Reserve, which is like in central India, and I
Mm.
really didn't have any phone network there, nothing. I was just living basic, like no tap, nothing. We used to go to the river, it was
Who's
fun.
that?
No tap.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
People who have seen me live there, like one of my friends, and plus my husband also saw me over there, and then my father had come to visit me. Like we had this huge drum which we used to fill using the well water, and then like literally suction say we used to take out water from the pipe every day. It was an exercise,
Yeah, I
but it
think
was
this is great life experience, Gargi. I feel
Yeah.
this is like, yeah,
was amazing. I
yeah.
think that was the best opportunity I got to live with myself, and that also made me realize that we actually don't need a lot of things in our life. Just
Mm.
because we live in a city, that
Mm.
consumerism increases. But when you
Mm.
live in such places, you realize that you are happy with even five, six things that you own. Like you don't need
Mm.
much because these
Yeah.
experiences are the one that fill your heart with.
Yeah.
So I would again stress on this, like if anybody is getting an opportunity to go to such places, such remote places, and live, be like them, see how the people live there, blend into them,
And
and
don't try
stay.
to change them into city people and try to get them, get
Yeah,
every place to become Bombay or another
ex-
city. Yeah.
exactly. Like I
Yeah.
tried to feed my assistant Maggie, and he was like, "You eat worms?" And I'm like, "They are not worms." So yeah, don't do that. I would never ever feed Maggie to anybody else who doesn't know what
Yeah.
it. Yeah, small things, and how now the pandemic and our actions matter. So the pandemic is a cause of. It's not just like 1 year or few days. It's been happening over the years, and now we are facing our own actions, what we did.
Mm.
So
Mm.
basically, people would be like deforestation or pandemic. How is it even related? But
Mm.
it is. the rate at which we are progressing towards wildlife trade, pet trade, exotic animal keeping species, like acquiring them from the wild and keeping, you are basically creating a pool of viruses and disease into one. And then, of course, it's like increasing the chances of exposure. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and now, given that we have such excellent transport facilities, anybody, like today I'm in Africa, tomorrow I can go somewhere else. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's all connected. So
Mm-hmm.
suppose in the olden days, even if there was like some virus that got into some people,
Human
it
being,
would
yeah.
end there. It would just end there. It would just
Yeah.
affect like a bunch of people, and it would end there. Like they would either die or they would develop immunity. But
Community.
now people are like continuously traveling and
Travel.
going here and there. You can
Yeah.
see within a year, this pandemic went like crazy. Why?
Crazy. Yeah.
Because people are traveling, people are continuously, and nobody wears masks. Sorry,
And
but yeah,
and there are more such viruses that are being
yeah,
bred as we speak, and
yeah,
15 more pandemics like this can happen at a time. That
yeah.
is there.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, recently, somebody shared an article saying a new frog amphibian species
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
discovered. The article, and I was like, don't be so happy. That just means that the ice cap is melting. Slowly, these things are coming out, and there'll be a
Yeah.
lot of disease to which you will be exposed. And
Mm-hmm.
so, now about bats? See, bats are a reservoir of viruses. I agree that, but they didn't cause COVID-19. So
Mm-hmm.
COVID is a whole big family of viruses. It's not just
Mm-hmm.
like one virus that is
Yeah.
COVID-19.
Yeah.
SARS, it's the whole
SARS,
thing.
MERS.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the closest that they found to COVID-19 was in Chinese horseshoe bats, which are found in China, and they were
Mm-hmm.
there in the wet markets. But that doesn't mean they caused it to us, or the way people are burning bats or killing them. No, they
Mm-hmm.
don't. Like you cannot be affected just, and scientists have also studied that the guano that the bat, like the droppings of bat, even that cannot cause any harm to us, because there are specific viruses which can actually affect humans. Like no,
Mm-hmm.
that now what if you do is if you get so many wild animals and keep them in wet markets which are not
Yeah.
hygienic,
In pages. Yeah.
yeah, you
Yeah.
are basically transferring them from one animal to the other, and you don't know who is the host of which virus. And then when you consume it, of course, abhi probability may say if 10 viruses are there, one would affect you, right? Like, and
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that's how the pandemic occurred.
Correct.
And
Correct.
and how deforestation is that if you're slowly going to what do you say, destroy the ecosystem, and slowly your
Destroy their homes. Yeah.
forest cover, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
they are going to come into the cities. Like
Mm-hmm.
example, take rats. Okay, now rats have been a part of our settlements since a long time, but these same rats are capable of spreading so many disease from the wild to us. So
Mm-hmm.
we are basically destroying their homes. So they are going to find refuge in our places. And if you are increasing the I wouldn't say conflict, but the interaction between you and wildlife, because conflict is a term which itself is a conflict because it's like an accident. It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
that the animal caused it or we went and did it. It's more like an
Mm-hmm.
accident. So it's just like how tigers are coming out of national parks. Like we know what is a protected area, we know the boundaries, but tigers
Mm-hmm.
don't know that. They are going to walk
Correct.
wherever they want to, and
Correct.
if you are going to slowly crunch them into a small area, especially a big
Mm-hmm.
cat which needs such a huge home range, it's going to
Mm-hmm.
come out to search for better
Food.
place, maybe
Yeah. Yeah.
food,
Yeah.
and we have so much livestock in our country that
Mm-hmm.
livestock is an easy prey. So,
Mm-hmm.
basically, you are itself carving a path for yourself and for the disease to come in touch with you. And then blaming the bats or pangolins or whatever is very weird, like idiotic, I feel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so that's another question that I have. We are creating a negative image for bats, sometimes for leopards in Bombay, and snakes. So what happens if we start killing these animals in such a large scale?
Okay. So, see, sometimes there are times when you need to cull, not kill, like cull.
Mm.
Culling is basically mass slaughtering. Not, I can't use the word
Yeah, yeah.
slaughtering, but yeah, it's like it. But then
Mass
if it's
disease.
for, yeah, management basically. But then if it's for wildlife, like to protect the habitat or ecosystem. For example, like we have an invasive species, yeah, and you cannot relocate them or you cannot do anything with them, and then but this one species is affecting 10 other species and you decide to cull it, then it can be like, you understand that you did it for the whole ecosystem. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're just blindly going to kill things like bats, who, to be honest, till now nobody even knows the exact source of COVID-19. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
such a huge thing that nobody even knows it, just because,
They're just killing bats.
yeah, and the wet market
And
had,
those bats were in China, even if it was a bat. That was a bat in China. It was not a
yeah,
bat in India. The bat is not like humans that it can fly and come to
yeah,
other
especially if it's
places.
an endemic bat, yeah, then,
Yeah,
but I would not say bats caused it because we don't know.
yeah.
And yeah, so the thing is, what was I talking? What was my
So,
point? Sorry.
the pandemic and yeah, I had asked what will happen if we kill certain species on a large scale.
Ah, yeah, sorry. I did not catch. That's how I am. But yeah, so if you're going to kill them on a large scale, like bats, especially bats who are so
Mhm.
important, they are
Mhm.
pollinators. Like, you eat because of them.
Mhm.
Especially
Right.
fruit bats. Fruit bats are responsible to pollinate so many different species of plants all over
Mhm.
the world. And
Mhm.
if you go to South America, like tequila, like people
Mhm.
love tequila. Even that's
Yeah,
a product of bat. Like, bats are the main pollinators for that.
pollinators for that plant.
And yeah,
Mhm.
so people don't see the other picture, what bats are doing. Like, they are helping us in a way. Like bees, bats, these are all important pollinators. And if you're going to kill them just because you cannot deal with them, or you
Mhm.
learned somewhere that they caused the pandemic or whatever, but you didn't take any efforts to Google it and read. And celebrities like Amitabh Bachchan who tweet saying that bat came into my house and mera picha nahi chhod raha hai. Come on, take responsibility. You are promoting Gujarat tourism, you're promoting lions and stuff.
Yeah,
Start
it's irresponsible.
thinking about other wildlife too. Like, if the lions are not going to protect you tomorrow, or they're not going to pollinate. I'm not saying lions are bad, but they're not pollinating anything for you in such a huge mass scale
Mhm.
because they're
So
just there.
yeah,
Yeah,
so that's what the bottom line is. Every animal, including us, we fit into a puzzle piece that is the whole ecosystem, right? And if we take out, if basically what we're doing is we're putting it in an imbalance when we take out one participant of the system.
that's true.
So that is what we need to understand. I'm just telling this for the viewers,
Yeah,
that we have to take care of our environment, and we also have to take care of all the animals in our surroundings. Only then we will be able to protect ourselves from pandemics like the COVID.
yeah, true. And this is just, I think, the starting of a
Yeah,
pandemic. I don't know how many. Actually, last pandemic happened was like long back, but now I think the rate at which it might occur is increasing because of our
yeah,
actions. And the way
Yeah.
people say, "Oh my God, 2020 is the worst year ever."
yeah. This is
No,
not. This is
2020
just the
is just the
beginning.
beginning. Start understanding what
Yeah.
you're doing, and I
I
think
think we've had this panic attack in our classrooms while studying environmental science,
yeah,
and realizing what
what is
realities are waiting for us,
yeah,
be it pollution, be it the nature, or all the harm that we have done all around us,
yeah,
including the hurricanes that are happening all around the world, the flooding that is happening everywhere. All of this is somewhere or the other related to the
even the
actions
locust
that
attack.
we are,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
even the locust attack, yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
so this is an important, you can also add to what I'm saying, that environmental science becomes then an important field of study, more so right now. It was always important, but now it has become more important. And is it viable as a study, what we are doing, especially what you are doing, conservation biology? Is it viable as a study, as a career option for young people?
yeah. Okay. So, if you ask me, I wouldn't excite. Like, I would be excited to say yes, but if you see for the ecosystem, yes. But
Yeah.
on a personal level, no, because people don't respect you. Like, people don't
Mhm.
understand what you're doing. My own
Mhm.
relatives fail to understand what I'm doing.
Mhm.
And the first response that I hear when I say wildlife, like the word wildlife, as soon as it's out of my mouth, they're like, "Oh, so you go to national parks with your camera and click pictures of tigers?" I'm like, "No, I don't do that. That's not wildlife conservation. Yeah, that's ecotourism.
I
In a
think
way, they are."
somebody called me a gardener once when I told them that I was studying environmental science.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
understand where you're coming from.
yeah, even now when I tell people I came here to study, like this is my second master's. Okay, now first master's I did in environmental science. I work with a lot of NGOs and then realized that just collecting data is not it. You need to analyze it, you need to present it, and to be able to present it somewhere so that people understand your work. So currently in Manchester, I'm not working as such. Like side by side, I'm working. Plans are there, but mainly I'm focusing on my education. So I'm studying ex-situ conservation. That is, for example, now ex-situ means conserving species in their other than their home. So example, zoos or aquariums or wildlife parks,
Yeah.
sanctuaries. Zoos are like, people have such bad reputation about zoos, but to be honest, in the long run, if you run a zoo properly or if you keep the animals properly, of course I agree that some animals shouldn't be in zoos like elephants or big animals like marine animals usually. They should not be in captivity. But some animals who are captive bred, like born and bred in captivity, they are actually acting like ambassadors for their wild cousins to be able to understand. We are privileged
Mm.
enough to go to a national park and see a tiger, but there are kids from the villages or from the some places maybe they do not have enough money to go to Africa and take a safari. So how will they
Mm.
know what an elephant looks like, or what a sorry, not an elephant, but how does a animal look like, or which
Mm.
animal is where? So I think zoos should focus more on research, conservation, and education. I think the
Mm.
entertainment now should be reduced a bit because earlier it was completely entertainment, but now zoos
Mm.
need to develop themselves, and that's why I'm doing this course where it's not only keeping animals in zoos but also studying species recovery, like reintroduction in the wild. So captive breeding is important. Sometimes some species we have destroyed their home so much that we need to help them to survive. Like for
Mm.
example, now in India we have a lot of captive ex-situ conservation going on. Plus, there are a lot of reintroduction programs, mainly for vultures, and now even the Great Indian Bustard, which was almost on the verge of extinction. Now they are trying a lot of ex-situ conservation methods too. So I think keeping a backup is not bad. Like we all have hard drives where we keep our pictures, then why not keep a backup for our animals, which are so important?
Mm.
But yeah,
Mm.
keep them properly, like if you're going to keep them, not just as a menagerie or like for entertainment. Yeah.
Right.
So I'm
So,
studying and plus doing my master's research project right now, and because of the thanks to pandemic now it's got extended, so I think one more year.
oh,
It was a 1 year master's, but now I think they have extended to another.
oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess this is the result of what we have done. It cannot be helped. So,
Yeah.
Gargi, I'm also going through some of the pictures that you have sent me before, and
Yeah.
uh, why
I'll
don't we go through your work also through images
Yeah,
for
sure.
our viewers to
So
see?
yeah, so this picture is basically from 2017. So
Mhm.
I look quite thin also. No kidding. But yeah, so this is from Greenline, and so Greenline is one of the NGOs which is working towards education outreach in Mumbai, and it's based in Matunga inside Don Bosco School. So they are like the environmental wing of Don Bosco, where they are doing great work with school children, with youth, and with normal society people or citizens of Mumbai. And I think they have a great impact on schools because they have almost more than 50 schools who are collaborating with them on a project called the Green Schools Project, where we used to like go to schools and give lectures on different topics. What is not included in their curriculum, like apart from what is in the syllabus, we used to add topics like we used to decide a theme for the whole year. Like for example, when I was there, the theme was water. So say water. Then we conducted 3 sessions with them. So we used to go to schools and talk to them, maybe give them activities, like just not like you said, how to assess. It's not just you go to a place, you just give lecture and come back. But you give them some activity, follow up, see what they understood out of this and what they're doing. So that would be a way to assess what you actually did. Okay, so this was green line. Jogi next.
Yes. So I think Jogita is offline. So can you tell me what kind of activities like you used to give in schools?
Yeah. So example like regarding water, we did something called a water footprint calculator. Like we showed them. So for example, the things that we don't know, how much does a loaf of bread require? How many liters of water does it require? Or the amount of water that goes into making a t-shirt, which we just casually throw away if we don't like it. So, to make them understand that water is not just for drinking, but we use it for different purposes. And hi, Jogis. So we use it for different purposes. And then we also took them around the whole Mumbai to show the water bodies of Mumbai. Like, we have four rivers in Mumbai. People don't know because the
Oh
rivers
yeah.
look like gutters. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. The rivers look like gutter, so we don't even know that they're rivers. And when the kids saw the river, they were like, "Is this a river?" And we're like, "Yeah, that's a river." So we have four rivers in Mumbai, and even I didn't know, to be honest. I just knew two. Two. I know Mithi and we know Shivara and all that. But then there are four, and we have so many, more than 100 water bodies. And water bodies means everything like wells, lakes, ponds, everything included. And then
Mm-hmm.
we had I got to know so many things from by teaching the kids itself. I was teaching myself in the process, so it's great to interact with kids because and kids have this weird questions that they ask you, and sometimes
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, there was one point when one kid asked me something and I was like, oh shit, what should I even say? Like, even I don't know. And they think so in a different way. And I think we need
Yeah.
to encourage that. What
Yeah.
happens in schools is that whenever a kid asks, especially me as a kid, I had some weird questions. But then all the response that I got when I asked these questions was, is that even a question? Just sit down.
Shut
Like,
up. Yeah.
people used to like
Yeah.
laugh, like, hey, what is she asking? That's a wrong question. There is no concept called wrong question. Just ask anything you want. And that I learned after coming to the UK. I think here, if I even ask like how does a dog walk or like how they will answer it, even though they expect you to know it, but they will answer it because that questioning thing you should not kill in a kid, otherwise the curiosity goes into drain and then you are just like a machine who's learning and vomiting. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, adding to that point, Bhargi, what we also do at Science Didi is be a collaboration platform for ideas like that. That students are also part of the classroom, and I don't know if you know much about the work that we have done, and for the last 2-3 years, we've been working with students from across class divides, and what we have realized is yes, students don't have agency in their classroom, and that's one of the biggest reasons why they are not able to learn better. So
Yes.
you are the kind of example that we would like to set, and this is the kind of facilitation that we would like to do in the future, where we can bring in people who are actually working in the real world and interact with students. And as we can see also in images, I think this is you doing a nature walk. Where is
Yeah,
this
so
going?
this was in Sanjay Gandhi National Park. Okay, for if I have some audience outside India or whatever, I don't know, but we are like Mumbai is like Bay. We have a national park inside the city,
Yeah.
and although some people don't consider it as a forest, but RA is a forest. Please, we have leopards
Mm.
roaming around. Leopards don't
Right.
roam around in cities
Right.
just like that. It's a national park. So this was a trail in the national park where there were school students, and that's me showing them something which I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, I was just so it was more like walk and learn. It was like as you walk, you learn. It's not that specific, this plant or that plant. Whenever I
Mm.
was walking, if I spotted something, I used to tell them, this is only here in monsoon, or this was during monsoon. As you can see, it's very green, but yeah, even during this time I learned that kids will ask you anything. Don't get irritated, don't make that face, don't get agitated saying that, don't do this on their face, like never. If you do this, the kid gets discouraged because he or she thinks that, oh, I should not have asked that, or what will people think about me, or I offended the speaker. So first listen what they're talking, what they're asking, then politely reply. If you think that question is stupid, just politely reply saying that, thank you for the question, but in real life this doesn't happen. It's okay.
Mm.
Kids can
Yeah.
have different questions, and
Yeah.
don't kill their imagination just like that.
Yeah, I think
It happened with
several
me.
wrong questions and then one right question is enough. Even if there are hundreds of wrong questions and the same kid asks the right question, then it
Yeah, that
leads to progress. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. For me, I think question is not wrong because it's
Hmm.
just a question. Like
Yeah,
don't put a tag on it like right or wrong. Just
Right.
say that question is question. It's that person's curiosity. And I'm talking this after learning a lot of things from the kids, from my own experience. Because as a kid, I had lot of questions, and some teachers used to tell me, "What are you even asking?" Like
yeah,
that
Yeah.
because of that, I got scared and
Yeah.
I stopped asking questions, especially math, physics, all these things
Yeah.
where I literally like went from here to because nobody was answering my questions. I didn't know why. Now they say find x. My question was why? Why do I need to find x? What will I get finding that? So if you're not able to answer, it's okay. Just tell that person that you don't know. But don't say it's
Yeah.
a wrong question or what stupid
yeah,
question. Don't
Hmm.
use those words, that remain in the child. It's like a childhood trauma for that. Also, one more good thing about working in conservation kids is that you go to such fancy places. This is not fancy, but this is Central India, a
Oh.
beautiful, yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful deciduous forest, teak-dominated forest. This is Melghat Tiger Reserve. It's actually a
Mm-hmm.
river called Khapra, but that time it was like the water level had gone down. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, it's like a lifelong experience. Like, not, I don't think going to a mall or something can ever replace these things for me ever, because
Definitely not.
the
Yeah.
peace and the happiness that I got here just by sitting, observing birds and the not even birds, you don't even need anything. You just sit there and you'll be fine. We used to have a lunch and all under the tree. It was amazing. So yeah, this is one plus point that you get to interact with people. Second, you go to places. Uh, next image, sorry. Yeah, second place. Now, one more thing is that you have to work in extreme conditions. Although I didn't work here for long, this is Chambal, the river Chambal in
Mhm.
famous Chambal. So yeah, you have to go to such places and work. Like one of my friend, it's her project, and she's doing great. She's from Bombay Natural History Society. She's a conservation leadership fellow, and she gave me the opportunity to volunteer with her. That's when I went to Chambal. And if you can see, can you see a gayal over there?
yeah, yeah,
It's a yeah, it's camouflaged over there with the ducks. So there are different, what do you say, difficulties working in this field as a girl, or I'm not being sexist, but just let's address it that being a girl, it's not easy to work on the field. There are you sometimes have to work with 10 guys with you. There's none other girl, but you have to be really prepared. You have to be mentally strong of what people talk about you. The villages might not be even open to having a girl idea of having a girl with boys.
Hmm.
So you need to be really strong. Even on the field, you need to be healthy, like physically
Yeah.
strong to work because it's under the harsh sunlight or something. I have had my problems, but I'm not giving up. Sorry, I won't give up. It's okay. I'll
Hmm.
come back home 10 times, but I won't give up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like that.
Yeah.
Next, yeah, these then you get to see beautiful birds. So this
Yeah.
is Indian skimmer, and so it's a beautiful bird. So if you see, this is the only bird which has like the lower beak is longer than the upper beak. Like
Upper beat.
yeah, and it actually fishes like scissors. Like it skims through the water catching fish. So it was great. You get to see such endemic different species. Sorry, like, and then I even worked in the Ghats, like the Western Ghats, which are one of the biodiversity hotspots of our country. Then I was working as a naturalist over there with few like take people from the city for night trails and show them frogs, snakes. These are only frogs, but I there are a lot of other things that you
But
see in
this
the
is such a big diversity of frogs.
yeah
I've
yeah,
only seen brown ones. These are so colorful and
yeah
different looking. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like Maharashtra alone has I think 40 plus species. I might be wrong. Sorry, herpetologists or herpetofauna people out there. Sorry, but
Yeah.
yeah, but there are a lot of species over there.
Yeah.
And then you get to live in such huts and inside the forest. So
Yeah.
it's an experience. There are
Yeah.
plus points. These are all the good things that I'm talking. Next, sorry.
Yeah. There's one more. Just a second. Yeah. 1 second. Yeah.
Yeah, then you get to go inside the forest.
Yeah.
these are these are the people without whom I couldn't have survived. So they are the tribals of Central Melghat Tiger Reserve. They are called the Korku people. They are
Hmm.
the tribes over there. Korkus, Gonds, Gwalis. These are the different tribes you can find over there, and they are amazing people, like so friendly, warm-hearted, and we used to live like we are a family, not like you work for me, do this, do that. No,
Mm-hmm.
not like had such a great time. At the same time, there's so much to learn from them,
Yeah.
and plus you can always share whatever you want to with them and help them. So yeah, you
Mm.
get to do nice.
These
Then
are also your friends.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like you make a lot of field dog friends, and just trust me. If nobody, they'll be there for you always, guarding you, helping you. And there was not a single day when they used to not come to my hut and we used to not chill. Like they used to always eat, and I used to make some extra food for them. So these are the things I think that are amazing when you're working on the field. uh, and then like the thing I said, the last thing, so this picture is from Mumbai. So these are the fishermen community in Mumbai who are working in like the Vashi Creek, the Thane Vashi Creek.
Mm-hmm.
And when we interacted them, I was quite sad because they have to slowly shift their livelihood from fishing to something else because of the plastic bags we throw from the train on Vashi Beach. So one of them told me that earlier they had so many species, but now they just have like 11 or something left.
Yeah.
And plus every half an hour they have to stop their boat, the fan, because a lot of plastic
Get
gets stuck.
stuck. Hmm.
So they have to take it out and then again do it. So he said earlier we used to just find species over here, like whatever we used to fish. Now they have to go deep
Hmm.
into the water to fish.
Hmm.
That's also kind of impacting them because they have to spend more, go into the field, like go deeper. And he said, "Madam, uh, he said in 1 hour I observed trains going on like to and fro, and he said almost like 40 to 50 bags were thrown from the train. He counted them. When-
Hmm.
So he
I
said,
think this
"Ma'am,
is a morning routine for a lot of women.
yeah,
Yeah.
They're
I used to fight
throwing,
with them
yeah,
a lot.
they're
Like
throwing waste. I think religious waste. I think across all religions, this is a common thing to throw things
wastewater.
in water because it's considered more sacred.
Yeah,
But I think it will add to a lot of not just plastic, but also change the composition of water when you throw waste. Even
that's
if
true.
it's, yeah, even without the plastic, if we are throwing waste into the water, it's going to change the composition. And I don't think that is advisable. And uh, if we religions exist to take care of us as people, and we should not do something that will harm us and everybody else around us.
No, that's true because
Yeah.
nowadays I have just become very silent. But people who know me back then, like even you knew me, I was a bit aggressive when I was back that time. I used to be really
Yeah.
aggressive. I used to fight with people. There were incidents when people were harming lizards or breaking a tree or whatever, and I used to literally go and fight with them, not even thinking what I'm doing or what I'm getting myself into. But then
Mm.
I realized that's not the way to address the problem just by fighting. Then what's the difference
Mm.
between you and them? Like you
Yeah.
have to be really patient and
We need to
understand.
educate. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way. But I still haven't figured out how to stop those ladies from throwing it in the
I think
train.
it's a slow transition, if you ask
Yeah.
me. As a traveler myself in the trains, more I have seen the numbers gone down at least in the times as
Yeah,
years have passed. I hope
yeah,
that education is going to change that, and people
yeah.
like you and me and Linsha who are working in the field of education, or are able to influence people's lives like this, are able to change something about this. And on that note, one of our viewers, Nikhilesh, has asked us if you have any plans to start a YouTube channel so that you can educate us about. I think our viewers loved our show today. Uh,
Thank you so much.
so
What?
they're hoping that you'll have more. You'll give them more time.
Yeah,
And
I,
yeah.
I don't mind talking whole time, fine. But but the thing is that about the YouTube thing, maybe yes, maybe no, I don't know. Like I have plans of doing something with YouTube. Like I'm working with few of my friends over here in the UK. So I'm trying to make contacts, and slowly even they are trying to collaborate because it's human nature. Like they have always worked in captive environment. I've always worked in wild. So they want to
Hmm.
go to wild and I want to learn husbandry. So we thought,
Hmm.
why not share our ideas and just
Hmm.
collaborate? So I'm working with few people over here. Let's see how it works because it's not easy to get a visa in UK and work. But you can always, why not try? Like what's wrong in trying? So I'm trying that, and maybe soon we might have a YouTube channel, not completely on my experiences, but something that promotes awareness, like yeah,
So
awareness.
we would like to inform, like invite you to come and use our platform, Science DD's
Yeah.
platform, and our viewers. You know,
No,
we can keep our viewers updated about your activities because
yeah, it might
this
take
is
time.
the kind of work that we want to promote. Sorry?
Yeah, it might take a bit of time, but I
Yeah.
can always involve a lot of other audience, like international audience, always, because I think see what I have seen here. I'm not talking on behalf of others, but there are a lot of people who come abroad, but they don't share anything. Like I feel they just pigeonhole themselves and they're so closed, thinking
Hmm.
that I came here, I did it myself. It's in fact you should be more happier to share. Like if you get
Right.
an opportunity to come here, I'm
Hmm.
dying to do something back home which can help people, especially in rescue. Now that I have got in touch with a reptile rescue facility here, I go and volunteer there sometimes. So they give me training in ethical handling of venomous reptiles, which is so needed in our country because there's always news of boys or girls. Not girls, I've not seen girls yet, but there are a lot of guys dying due to snake bites while handling because they were like
Hmm.
playing with stunt snake.
Playing
And
with it. Hmm. Hmm.
you're not doing rescue for that. Rescue is not just playing or just catching snakes. It's more about avoiding first of all at the first place, like educating people and then doing all those things. So if everything works out fine, I might even have some people who will come to India and help some group of people. I'm targeting more towards girls because sorry, I'm not being biased, but girls need this. There are a lot of girls like me who want to go into like learn snake handling, snake rescue. I was fortunate enough because I had my father who was doing it and I observed him. But my rescue style and my father's rescue style is totally different because I worked on it. I changed it a bit. He has been doing it for so long, and I have changed it a bit where I don't. I try not to touch the animal at all. Like just
Hmm.
stress uh, as possible, how much ever possible. Just let it, just do the rescue fast and just finish the rescue because it's not like showing to people handling, and I don't do all that. That's not myself.
Yeah, I completely agree with you when you say that we should bring in more girls. Mostly because in India, a lot of the farm labor, more than 80% of the farm labor are women. And a lot of times, women are coming in contact with wild animals and snakes. So of course we need to educate boys, but the first person to go and be exposed to such a risky situation is going to be a woman. So it should be a
Exactly.
enforced in schools, especially in villages.
Yeah.
So,
And
Gargi, I think this has been a rich talk. I've
yeah,
really thoroughly enjoyed it,
yeah.
and our professor from college has expressed that he's proud of both of us, and
Thank you.
and I am proud of you.
Yeah.
I hope that we get to collaborate even more on Science DD, and that we can bring out material or content where we can educate students. Even without the presence of an animal, maybe
Yeah.
we could
Yeah.
even do ways to educate people.
Yeah. I
Okay.
actually prefer that. Yeah, because
Yeah.
animals
Yeah.
get stressed. And yes, thank you so much, Jogi and Linsha, for
Yeah.
involving me in this. And like you said, in future, I will make sure that if I'm doing something, I'll always include because it's a very good platform that you already have people who are with you. I
Yeah.
don't need to go and search for kids, so that's
Yeah.
better. And,
Yeah.
yeah, I hope everybody was having a good time during the session.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah, we
think this
loved
is
it.
the most engaged live that we've had so far.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, to your credit. Okay. So, I will just sign off now. Thank you, everybody, for watching this live in such an engaged manner, asking so many questions. We have not been able to address all of the questions that people have had. We'll try to see if we can reply to your specific questions on comments. And we'll also try to put up contacts or websites of local rescue, animal rescue centers, and you can hit Gargi up on social media without stalking her. So yeah, so you can ask your specific questions to Gargi as well. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gargi. Thank you, Linsha, for joining us. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.